I'm gonna call the meeting. And ask you guys if you would lead us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right, Miranda, would you mind taking the roll call, please?
Sandy Smith,
Present.
Scott Dorman,
Here.
Ryan Leahy, Jeff Robbins,
Here.
Don Smith,
Here.
Rick Spear.
Rick?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, Rick.
All right, have you all had an opportunity to take a look at the agenda for tonight's meeting?
Yes.
Anyone
Yes.
have any concerns, comments, discussion points to raise with the agenda? May I have a motion, please, to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda for Monday, March 23rd, our pension board meeting.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion carried. Unless I'm missing something there, I'm gonna leave the public right now, so we'll just move on to the next. To the next area. Did you all have an opportunity to take a look at the minutes of the pension board from July 14 of 2025?
Yes. Yes.
Any questions, concerns, changes about the minutes from July 14, 2025?
Nope.
May I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes from the pension board meeting from July 14, 2025?
I'll move to approve the pension meeting minutes from July 14th, 2025.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
Was that you?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no.
Aye.
Sorry about that. The motion carried. All right, turning now to public hearing items, business 7A, the pension request from Nicole Frio.
She has joined, just,
Okay.
if you need to speak with her.
Okay, this is a pretty standard, this is actually the first action you'll take as a pension board since you're affiliated with FPPA last year. So this is an application from Nicole Friel for a standard retirement based on over 10 years of service and 50 years of age or older, which Nikki just turned here relatively recently ago. She has applied for her vested pension as over 10 years and 50 years of age. She's eligible for 14 years of service. Really doesn't take any action on the pension board's part other than approving her application. And then if you do that, then we'll go online and with FPPA and finish out her paperwork, and then she'll start receiving that pension.
Any discussion?
I think we just need to thank Nikki for all her years of service for the organization. I know she was first gone on as a dive team member and she put in a lot. It's amazing what she's done. So thank you, Nikki.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott, for raising that. Thank you, Nikki.
Mentioned also that she will be returning to us as an active retiree in the
Yes.
next couple of weeks. And we'll deal with that on the next agenda item.
Okay. And that is consistent with the resolution we passed at our most recent full board meeting, correct? Okay. Well, then may I have a motion to approve the pension request from Nicole Friel, please?
I would make the motion to approve the pension request for Nicole Friel for her years of service with the organization.
May I
I'll-
have,
That.
was that a second, Jeff?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All opposed, no? Remember the delay. I know, slow down. Motion carried. All right, turning now to item 7B, active retiree resolution for Nicole Frio.
Okay, this is a companion agenda item for this. Both the state statute requires the board to adopt a resolution for an active retiree or active retirees in the future, which you did last month. However, our pension board bylaws also require the pension board to adopt a similar resolution. And that's here and there. And again, it is not specific to Nikki. It allows us to use this in the future if we have
Since I
others. In the future.
didn't have space to open my computer with everything just now, could you just show me the face page of the resolution, please? Board book was too big to open. All right, so any discussion on the issue of the active retiree resolution for Nicole Friel? I'm going to read the title and a number of it into the record. It's the Estes Valley Fire Protection District Volunteer Firefighter Pension Board Resolution number 2026-01, resolution regarding the need for volunteer firefighters. So I will now open it up for discussion regarding the resolution 2026-01 regarding the need for volunteer firefighters.
I think that this is a needed resolution for organizations of our size with volunteers. We always need volunteers, so I don't have any issue with passing this resolution.
I agree, and I think this is consistent with our discussion in the most recent full board meeting where we decided that it was really necessary to, and it's something that you had done even when you were chief, right?
I did.
Yeah. So it makes perfect sense to me. Do you have any questions or concerns about it? Rick, do you have any questions or concerns?
No questions or concerns.
All right, then may I have a motion, please, to adopt resolution number 2026-01, resolution regarding the need for volunteer firefighters.
I would move we adopt resolution number 2026-01 regarding the need for volunteer firefighters.
May I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I do good. All opposed, no. Motion carried.
I did. Can I get that one back? Keep the packet there.
Of course you can.
Thank you.
I
Okay.
decided not to try to print everything out today. I only printed out certain things. I'm turning now to item 7C, funeral benefit for Steve Toms.
Yes, this is another pension board item. Your responsibility here under your bylaws is just to approve it. And if you approve this, then we'll go ahead and file the paperwork with the state for the funeral benefit. It's pretty easy to do. I think his services are this week, correct?
Saturday at 11 at the YMCA.
He served us for a long time. He served from 1984 to 2008, so a long period of time. This funeral benefit is laid out in the affiliation agreement with FPPA.
Any discussion?
Well,
I know we would like to address an issue at some point about increasing the
Yeah.
benefit.
So I misread. I thought this was a line item for that, so I assume I have to bring this up in new business now, but.
Well,
Anyway,
we are aware of the fact that we want to bring it up, and it is something that you should bring up on new business.
Yeah.
I do think we need to have, don't we need to have some kind of study done or something? There's
We do next week.
So we're gonna have
an
to,
actuarial study or something.
I would suggest maybe we get through this and then come back and we'll talk
Yeah.
about it.
All right,
Yeah,
but no, this is limited to the,
I short read it and
and I preempted you by telling you had something to talk about.
I agree.
Okay, then may I have a motion, please, to approve the funeral benefit for Steve Toms?
I will make a motion to approve funeral benefits for Steve.
May I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion carried. Okay, well, moving on now to item 7D, upcoming firefighter trustee vacancy.
Yes, Rick might know this more than we do, but I believe his term is up pretty soon. Is that the case, Rick?
Yeah, it's August, but given the infrequency of the pension board meetings, I thought it would be good to bring it up now, just so that if we don't have another meeting until my seat is vacated in August, that we are already ready to bring on somebody new during that meeting, which would probably be the next time we need to have a meeting just to approve the new person.
Probably true. And Violet, we did this once before, actually during my tenure, and there's a pretty clear outline of the process that needs to take place. And Captain Spear, are you able to spearhead that, sorry, no pun intended, that effort, that effort again, even though you're the one creating the vacancy? I think you are. I think you would be, because it's not like anyone would be voting for you. Or would you be? Or would you be running again?
My intent, should we have people willing to take the position, is not to fill that seat again. So I guess I could help run it so that we fill the spot, and it's not a problem. Maybe Kelly can help me out just so she knows how it goes, and that way next time she knows the deal.
Maybe if you're willing, you could, since we know you're staying in your seat. And then we don't have any potential conflict of interest to the extent that people want to nominate and vote for him. Because no one's gonna nominate and vote for you because you're already here. So would you be able to do that? Are you sure?
Yep.
All right, I don't want to impose. I just want to, I do want to keep it as free of conflict of interest as we can.
And we can certainly provide the administrative support.
It's just, I can even draft the emails for you. I can actually forward you exactly what was sent last time. In fact, Rick, if you do me a huge favor, could you send me the emails you sent out to people last time, and then I can send them to Kelly, and that just sort of keeps her from having to do spend any significant amount of time on it.
Yes, I will see what I can locate and forward to you.
I will do the same. Okay, thank you. All right. No problem.
Question, so my understanding is that any volunteer firefighter can be a member of the pension board. So are we putting something out to all the volunteers that they would be, if they were interested,
Yes.
to apply?
And so whatever names come in, then if there's more than one, then the volunteers all vote for that
Okay,
who's going to be among the people that have indicated an interest.
I believe it also includes, any retired volunteers. So, because there was a vote for me and there was two others that were, I believe, on the pension. It can't proceed to pension, so,
Right, so they were already retired though.
yeah.
Okay, I think you're right. I
It
think I have a
was in-
memory of that now.
At least in the bylaws, but,
Okay.
yeah, so it's not just
It's
active
not-
volunteers, it's retired volunteers as well.
the only concern with retired volunteers is that they could be voting on increasing their own pension.
Yeah,
So they would have to choose themselves.
We kind of have the same problem here though, because even if I am sitting on the pension board right now, have 20 years of service, so I'm voting to increase my own pension, even though I don't get it yet, right? So, I mean, there's 5 board members also on the board that can sway that vote, but I understand your concern.
I'm not sure, this would be a legal question for Ashley. I'm not sure it automatically disqualifies somebody from voting. I think they have to identify it in the process. I
That's
don't,
something we need to find out.
Yeah.
if they have a straight up conflict of interest on it, they'd have to recuse themselves. So they'd have to identify the conflict. And then they wouldn't vote. The rest of us would vote.
I think it's outlined in the bylaws.
Yeah, it should be. Okay, well, I will. I'm gonna take a look at that, at the bylaws on that issue, before we get it in person on board, but the bylaws also say that retired volunteers can be considered to be sitting on, unless we wanna revise the bylaws, this next process is gonna include them.
And I believe the state statute even goes into the fact of who's able to sit on the pension board and includes retired volunteers. So,
Okay, that's probably why it's in bylaws then.
yeah.
Okay, I don't think there's anything that we have to do on this.
Doesn't require.
Voting wise, doesn't require, but, okay. Any reports? Any unfinished or old business? I'm gonna call now for board members to state any items of new business they may have.
I have one to increase the funeral benefits. I think it's like $900 now, right? And it used to be 100 when Scott came in, and I think that that's a little bit ridiculous, really. $900. I mean, it should be, I don't know if we go to, we kind of brainstormed a little bit on that, and I think it came out to like, what was it, like two checks or something like that, or I don't remember what exactly we talked about in there, but it was mathematics so that, you know, somebody that doesn't get as much pension, you know, it goes off of how much you had to give for a pension. Yes.
That's what it said.
2 months worth.
Yeah.
And when we set that, which has been probably over 20 years ago, we set that amount because it was $100. We had to make a death benefit for $100 and it was embarrassed.
Yeah,
So we changed it to where it was twice whatever their pension was going to be, because everybody doesn't get full 20 years or
right.
whatever the pension was. At that time, it seemed like a reasonable amount, but that's been like over 20 years ago. I think that it's way past time to.
So revisit it.
I think that, yeah, $900 now probably doesn't go as far as $100 did 20 years
That's
ago.
probably true.
So, yeah, I think it needs to be increased on that.
So in order to accomplish this, I think we do need to have an word's going to.
Actuarial.
I know, actuarial, I see, I did it, study performed. So can I leave that in your favorable hands?
We can, we are scheduled, the actuarial study, my understanding, under FPPA, where that's done in odd numbered years.
Okay,
So we had one done last year. Well, let's figure out what the cost of that is and probably bring it back to you and because I think it is paid out of the pension. Does fund, I believe,
Yeah.
so that. you
that
know,
would
I
be
don't know
something
what that is.
Or,
Would you like, I mean, we can do that, we can contact whoever has done it in the past, and I did read the last one. Donaldson, I'm trying to remember who did the last one, but we can reach out to them.
I have a copy of it.
Yeah, we can reach out to them and find out what it would take to do one for this use. Now, their question is gonna be, what is the benefit?
Right.
That we want to use.
So they could run a couple different scenarios, so we can give them a couple different benefits and see how that affects our unfunded liabilities.
double it.
Well, I mean, like go ahead, John.
I was just gonna suggest, could they do that based on the actuarial study we did last year instead of doing a whole nother actuarial?
Well, it probably could.
Yeah, I would imagine so, because it's
Yeah.
within 12 months.
Yeah, it's not that old, but
So just
She was on January.
for
12th.
argument's sake,
A little after.
what is like somebody that is 20 years in, what is a pension check a month?
four
Pension
hundred fifty.
It's $450 and it hasn't changed for quite a long time. I was gonna bring up
450, so
that.
I mean,
If
it
we're
really
gonna
should
do
be probably
actuarial.
4 months worth of pay.
Look into.
So
We ought to at least
I'll
double
that
that.
amount.
$1,800 would be double.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes more
so it'd
sense.
be like 4 months or, I mean, realistically, I think it's, what is it, $10,000 to even get cremated now or something like that?
It's a lot,
So that's still,
depends on what state you're in.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not
yeah.
worth that much, but it's very expensive, but. You know, we need to give them some parameters of what we're thinking of because and what we're comfortable with as far as having our unfunded liability. Usually is 75% or something is good, but it's you know, and we can change that by giving more money into the pension fund. So that's up to us. We can manipulate that by adding, providing more funds.
So would you like us to maybe start at 1,800, 3,600, you know, just in
Well-
increments and see what that would be?
like we were talking, I think it should be like a certain set, like 4 months. Then if you're 20 years in, you're getting $1,800, but if you're only 10 years in, you're not gonna get the same
Right.
check, so you're not gonna get the same benefits. So I'm thinking maybe more like a number of months instead of a dollar amount. That
So
way, it goes off of your years of
the number
service.
of years of service. So
So can I throw a wrench in there? I got a couple of wrenches for you guys to consider. Sorry.
Yep.
One, I've read the state statutes a couple more times than I really ever have wanted to. And I believe they refer back to a multiple of the pension that's earned by a pensioner for the funeral benefit. So it might be written into state law, the amount the pension's allowed to give, just like it's written in the state law, the amount the pension's allowed to give for a retirement benefit, unless an actuarial study says that we can provide more. So I just want to make sure that that the state statutes say we're allowed to up the funeral benefit. They say we're allowed to up the pensioner benefit based on an actuarial study. I don't know if they say we're allowed to up the funeral benefit, so we should probably just check before we make up a rule that might violate state statutes, you know?
Let's
Well,
consult with Ashley on
yeah,
that
well,
and see what we can do and, you know, how it should be calculated, whether it's a percentage of something
We'll
or,
bring back a staff report in a month or so.
Okay.
How to move forward with this.
Okay.
And what the steps will have to be, and what costs were associated with that.
and it sounds like we might want to consider another issue here as well. Would you like to raise your item in the business?
Yeah,
as well?
the
Can I,
retiree.
can I fit, hey, Kelly, just one sec, sorry, just to finish my thought, was on the same topic for the funeral benefit. Well, I just lost my train of thought, sorry. Go ahead, you go.
I was talking to John earlier and
Okay.
it doesn't, seem like we've upped the amount for the monthly benefit, even though cost of living has changed significantly in at least the last 10 years, 5 years even. So I wanted to bring up adjusting that while we're doing the study. Because I heard that was discussed to the funeral benefit, so I think we should look into that as well, upping that amount.
When was the last time it was up? Anybody know?
When did you?
Well, the pension benefit has been, gosh, it's had to be like 4 years. It went from like 425 or 400 to 450, but it's been a hot second.
Yeah, it hasn't changed.
We try
since
not to
then.
raise it by like $3, right? Like depending on the actuarial study where it lands. In our packet, if you guys saw in the minutes, the last actuarial study, our unfunded liability is 76 point, call it 77%. So our pension fund's not even 80% funded, and we're talking about doling out more money for funeral benefits and more pension. Now, I'm 100% in favor of all of this discussion, but the numbers have to make sense. So, starting from where we currently were with last year, I guess, I'm not guessing our pension fund looks that much better than it did last year to think, hey, unless the district's board decides to put more money in the pension on an annual basis, that we're in a position to change what we're currently doing.
All right, so can you add that to the report that you're gonna bring back to us?
Yeah.
And then we may need to request that the district board act in some fashion depending on what the results of that are.
And two things there. One is that I did identify this whole issue of how we support our volunteers. And this was one of them, as well as our per call reimbursement. Something we need to deal with that.
Then we need to address, and it's in your task list of things
Right.
you're focused on, yeah.
And also, we'll be coming up on the 2027 budget process here in the next 2 or 3 months to start that. So this will be a good
It's
time to
good
see
timing. Okay.
what that would be, to see what the impact would be at different levels for the 2027 budget.
How long do you think it'll take you to come back to us with this report?
I would say, let's say, a month.
So we could have another pension meeting in advance of the next board meeting on this?
I'll contact our auditor
Mhm.
and I'll contact our attorney, find out what the process is.
Okay.
To do that and then produce that report. And if we can do it before next meeting, see if we can do it.
Okay, if not, then the next one, but obviously sooner is better.
Yeah, it's probably not a factor on our end, probably more factor on the auditor's end and.
Right, just timing wise in terms of their schedules, right? Okay,
I remember that there was, it's going back a long time ago, but there was a maximum that the state would put into the pension fund.
I think
So whatever that is, and anything, if we go above that, then that's all on us.
it's all, of us.
Well, Rick is entirely correct. That's, whatever we do, we'll have a budgetary impact.
Yeah. I remembered my second wrench, if I can throw it in.
Yes,
It's just to
please.
piggyback on what Hippie was saying. What if someone, we were tying it to the years of service, right? And if they were 10 years, they get a certain amount. And if they were 20 years, they got another amount. Well, what if they were 8 years? Do they get nothing? Right? Because they didn't qualify for pension. So I think we want to be careful about dictating the funeral benefit based off of years of service. I'd like to see it a fixed amount. It doesn't matter whether you've been with us 2 years or 20 years. If you pass away and you're serving our department, why not take care of them? They're part of our family. So anyways, that was,
I agree with that.
Yeah, I do too. Okay,
so.
do you have your marching orders, sir?
What I heard is that maybe, we're looking at. an
We
amount.
also would be looking at a
An amount.
specific amount that it would be given to anyone, would be given in the event anyone dies in the line of service.
We may not be able to do that.
Isn't that what we do
If they're
now?
not eligible for pension. So if it's tied to the
Uh,
pension,
Yeah,
they're not gonna be eligible. So that doesn't mean we can't come up with something else.
full year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get involved.
We'll
And you guys
talk.
see what the state statute says, right? That's gonna be a huge piece.
That's why we have legal counsel.
That's why we have people who specialize in this particular area of the law, which I do not, so that would be great if we can.
Okay, I think we have our marching orders.
All right, good. Any other items in your business that anyone would like to raise? All right, then, as you heard, the next regularly scheduled meeting is a little up in the air depending on when this report can come back, so it'll either be the concurrent with the next district board meeting or the one after that. So to be determined. Anything else before we adjourn? May I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, no. The motion carried.
Pretty good.